Have you ever been so deeply tempted by something that you lose sight of what is really important? In a remote hermitage, a young disciple faces this same inner struggle, combining his search for spiritual peace with the distractions of the outside world. Through a chance encounter and a series of difficult choices, he will discover the truth about the power of outside influences and the power of his own thoughts. Join us as we explore how a master's wisdom and discipline can transform a troubled soul, offering a valuable lesson on how to cultivate a pure and peaceful mind, even in the face of temptation. This story will not only engage you, but also give you practical tools to maintain your inner peace in everyday life. Don't miss the opportunity to discover this powerful teaching. If you are enjoying this video and want to support this channel, I invite you to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this beautiful story with your friends. And if you would like to share your thoughts with us, you can leave a comment below and tell us about your experience. And now let's move on to our video. In a hermitage surrounded by peace, there lived a wise master with his disciples. Every day, one of them went to the village to collect alms, crossing a river on the way. This river, with its serene waters and peaceful flow, represented a metaphor for monastic life, a continuous flow of thoughts and actions, reflecting the inner calm necessary for the spiritual path. The river was not only a physical barrier, but also a symbol of the challenges and temptations each disciple faced on his path of spiritual growth. One day, the disciple noticed a young man from the village hiding behind a tree, staring at something intently. Intrigued, he approached and asked, "Friend, what are you looking at?" The boy turned and whispered, "Quiet, I'm looking at those beautiful girls." Following the boy's gaze, the disciple saw women bathing in the river. The women, immersed in the sparkling waters, seemed to embody purity and natural beauty, but at the same time they represented a temptation that could distract the young monks from their discipline. Frowning, the disciple scolded the boy, "This is not right. You should not look at them." The boy replied, "Can't you see how beautiful they are? Their beauty is hypnotic. Look with my eyes." Influenced by the boy's words, the disciple also began to observe the women. This exchange reflected the vulnerability of the human soul, which is easily influenced by external appearances and emotions. As he watched them, his mind was flooded with lustful thoughts. Flushing with shame, he hid behind the tree, trembling inwardly. Doubts assailed his mind. "What am I doing? This is wrong. I must leave." He hurried back to the monastery, but the images haunted him, disturbing his practice. He could not concentrate on his duties, his mind replaying the scene again and again. The next day, curiosity drove him back to the riverbank. He hid and watched the women with the village boy, turning it into a daily habit. His mind, once engaged in monastic life and meditation, was now consumed by thoughts about women. This cycle of desire and remorse highlighted the disciple's inner struggle, torn between his spiritual aspiration and earthly temptations. The master, noticing his disciple's distraction, sensed that something was wrong. The master's wisdom lay not only in his ability to guide his disciples, but also in his sensitivity in recognizing changes in their behavior and attitudes. One day the master proposed, "Today I will accompany you to collect alms." Alarmed, the disciple insisted, "No, master, please, I will go alone." Ignoring his pleas, the master followed him. Reaching the riverbank, the disciple hid behind the tree with the village boy, watching the women. Witnessing this, the master was shocked. He approached the disciple and called out to him, "Are you here to beg from these women?" The master's surprise and disappointment underscored the importance of guidance and discipline in the spiritual path. Terrified, the disciple turned around and saw his master. Trembling, he begged, "Please forgive me, that boy led me astray. I promise it won't happen again." The master replied, "Remember, the company you keep influences you. Surround yourself with goodness, and you will become good. Now let us return to our refuge." The master's words reflected a profound truth about human nature. Outside influences and the company we keep have a significant impact on our growth and behavior. They returned to the monastery, and the disciple distanced himself from the village boy. However, anger and frustration grew within him, leading him to attack his fellow disciples and fight during meditation. This inner conflict showed how difficult it was for the disciple to free himself from temptation and find his inner peace. One evening, sensing his torment, the master asked him what was the cause of his problems. The disciple burst into tears. "Since that day at the river, I have been tormented by impure thoughts. The more I try to control them, the stronger they become. I am lost. What can I do?" The master led him to the garden and explained, "Your mind is like a garden. If you plant poisonous seeds and nurture them, your garden will be infested with noxious plants. But if you plant and nurture beautiful flowers, the harmful plants will wither. Similarly, focus on positive thoughts, and negative thoughts will diminish." This metaphor illustrated the power of thoughts and intentions in influencing our mental state and well-being. The disciple asked, "But Master, during meditation my mind is flooded with impure thoughts. How can I stop them?" The master smiled kindly. "Don't fight those thoughts. Resisting them only strengthens them. By trying to suppress them, you become more attached to them. Let the thoughts come and go. Watch them without judgment, as if you were watching a movie. If you see them as fiction, they will not affect you. During meditation, regard your thoughts as mere projections. Stay present and aware, and you will find peace." This wisdom reflected an approach of acceptance and mindfulness, which is fundamental to meditative practice and the management of intrusive thoughts. Taking the master's advice to heart, the disciple began to avoid explicit content and allowed his thoughts to flow freely during meditation. Gradually, his intrusive thoughts faded and he found peace and happiness. The disciple's transformation showed the power of perseverance and discipline in achieving a state of mental and spiritual balance. The disciple's story offers us a valuable lesson on purity of mind. Our thoughts have immense power over us and can influence our actions, our emotions, and our overall well-being. Just as a garden can be cultivated to produce beautiful flowers or weedy weeds, our mind can be trained to generate positive and nurturing thoughts, or negative and destructive thoughts. This analogy underscored the importance of consciously cultivating our mind, just as we will do with a garden. The key to cultivating a pure mind lies in awareness and choice. We must be aware of the thoughts that arise in our mind and choose to focus on the positive and beneficial ones. This can be done through practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and gratitude. These practices help us develop greater control over our mind and our emotional reactions, leading to a more balanced and fulfilling life. It is important to remember that we all experience negative thoughts from time to time. This is completely normal. The important thing is not to let these thoughts control us. When we realize we have a negative thought, we can simply acknowledge it, label it as a thought, and let it go. There is no need to judge it or engage with it. This approach allows us to maintain a balanced perspective and not be overwhelmed by our negative thoughts, thus promoting greater peace of mind and mental well-being.